Welcome back to Turn Friday into Erev Shabbos. This Friday, it's not an ordinary Friday. There are no ordinary Fridays. Not an ordinary Erev Shabbos. As things continue to heat up in our beloved Israel, beloved Eretz Yisrael, as we prepare to go into Shabbos, while the Chayalim might be going into Gaza, such a different experience, certainly in our hearts, on our minds, in our thoughts, in our tzilos. We daven Hashem Yishmor, Yatzilas Chayaleinu. Please continue to daven as we are going in. But today is not Friday, it's Erev Shabbos. We turn our Friday into Erev Shabbos by preparing for Shabbos. A Shabbos, as I say, in which so many might be putting their lives at risk. I got back this morning. A small delegation went for 3 days and saw army bases in the north and the south, hospitals, injured, spread our love and hugs and resources with as many as we could. And very difficult and hard to return, but certainly in our thoughts and in our tefillos. Shabbos is the makor bracha. We daven, Shabbos is the source of all blessings. So if in fact they're going in on the ground on Shabbos, then may Shabbos be a source of great bracha and bring great success and sweeping victory to the Chayalim, so many of whom would be sitting around the Shabbos table, or would be having their Shabbos shluf, would be reading the Shabbos parsha, would be playing with their children and listening to their Shabbos divrei Torah, and instead are doing what Jews have to do, which is to go fight and protect our people. So our Shabbos, if you are not on the front lines, if you've not been asked to go into Gaza and instead are going into Shabbos, then this Shabbos is not only about you, but it's experiencing and celebrating, it's honoring and elevating a Shabbos on behalf of those who can't in the ordinary ways. Pikuach nefesh docha Shabbos, the notion that saving a life supersedes Shabbos takes on a whole new level when it's Hatzalas Yisrael, when we're talking about saving a whole Jewish nation, the whole Jewish people, not only those in Israel, but those front lines are the front lines of the war that's being waged around the world. This week's Parsha, Lech Lecha, the Slonim Rebbe has a beautiful insight. We don't usually read it or think about it in this way, but the opening of the Parsha and the test that Hashem gives Avraham is really a test about Shabbos. The Beis Avraham says, Lech Lecha, get up and go, El Haaretz Asher Areka, to the land that I promised, the promised land. Areka in Gematria is Shabbos. Areka in Gematria is Shabbos. Get up and leave your Artzacha, your land, the place of your birth, the place of your father's house, to the land Asher Areka. The first time Hashem speaks to Avram in the Torah, Hashem is giving Avram, what's the way to live this entirely elevated life? How do we achieve our best version of ourselves? How do we live our most mindful, meaningful presence here on earth? And what does it include? There are 3 ways to tap into eternity, immortality, 3 ways to live our best selves, fulfill our purpose in being created, and they are express themselves ba'olam, in the world, the physical world, shana, in time, and nefesh, and in spirit, in soul. Olam the first is El Haaretz Asher Areka, means quite literally the singularity, the uniqueness of Eretz Yisrael. Israel, we couldn't be in Uganda, and Jews don't belong in the 5 towns in Boca and LA. Temporarily may be there for whatever reason, but ultimately the promised land, the one land, the singular land, the land that is the intense presence of Hashem felt most deeply, is Eretz Yisrael. We know that the prophets could only prophesize. Hashem only revealed himself in this most intense way in Israel. There are no prophets outside the boundaries and borders of Israel. The second way we tap into and we elevate is time. And what is the ultimate day of time? If Israel is singularly the holiest space on earth, then Shabbos is singularly the holiest time of the week. Areka gematria Shabbos. And nefesh, the third way is in the soul, when we purify our soul, when we aspire to holiness, when we live for holiness, not for happiness, when we are able to elevate over the physical trappings of this world, when we're able to taste a little bit of our immortality and eternity, we bring heaven down here to earth. That's how we can live our highest, our best selves. And all 3 of these can be found in this pasuk, Lech Lecha. Hashem is telling Avram, it's time to get up and grow up. It's time to go to who you're meant to be. And where are those? In 3 ways, on 3 levels, in 3 different dimensions. Me'artzachainu me'artzius u'modchem beis avicha l'natiko kshur ma'gashmius shel beis u'moledus. Me'artzacha means the artzius, the gashmius in you. This world, this life is not about gashmius. It's not about how much pleasure, how many things. It's not about how much you can accumulate. It's about people and relationships and connection. It's about immortality. Lech lecha. Enjoy the pleasures of this world. There's nothing wrong with it. Comfort, convenience. Hashem gave us resources, and He said, "Enjoy my world, but don't ever get confused that that's a ends into itself. It's a means. Don't ever think it's a priority. It's less than secondary." And and the more a person is pure and holy, the more they can appreciate and tap into, connect with the sanctity of the land of Israel and the sanctity of Shabbos. And here we go. This is what the Slonim and the Nesiv Shalom quotes from the Torah's Avos, from the altar, the Saba Kedusha Malchavitz, B'no Haran, Zchusin Yagen Aleinu. This is what we say in our davening. V'lo nisatu Hashem Elokeinu l'goyei ha'aratzos. Hashem did not give this gift of Shabbos to the nations of the land. Goyei ha'aratzos doesn't mean the nations of the lands who live outside of Israel. Goyei ha'aratzos means those who are steeped in artzius, in gashmius. Leilu ashkum ba'artzius. V'lo hinchalto malkeinu lo'ovdei psilim. And Hashem also didn't gift or grant Shabbos to those who are confused in their ideology, in their worship, in what they idealize. The menucha, the sanctity, the rest, the peacefulness, the tranquility of Shabbos is not available to those to an oral. An oral doesn't mean only literally someone who doesn't have a bris milah, but it means somebody who gives into their urge, who indulges their impulse, who doesn't know how to live a sanctified, disciplined life. Hashem gave Shabbos only to us, only to the people who elevate over the artzias. He doesn't give it l'goyei ha'aratzos. If you are part of the nations of Gashmias, you don't get it. And He doesn't give it to ovdei psilim. If you're worshiping and bowing down to the wrong things, He doesn't grant it to you. Who does He give it to? Nuchaso, the peace doesn't go to you, arelim. Only the Yisrael Amcha Nesato Bi'ava. It has to be Bi'ava. Shabbos is the Bechina of Ava. Avas Hashem. There's a love of Hashem, a presence of Hashem, the feeling of Hashem. Hashem gives us a big hug. I had the great honor this week when I was in Eretz Yisrael, these few days, with a group of soldiers to go to the Gerer Rosh Hashiva, the great Rav Shaul altar. He gave a bracha to the soldiers. He gave a bracha to the whole army. The situation, obviously, so deeply connected and touched and davening so hard. The tzaddik gave a great bracha. But he mentioned to them, to these soldiers, and I had the presence to be the privilege to be with them and to be present for it. He said, a person gives a patch to their child. Today we don't give patches. But if a person, for whatever reason, the situation demands a child that's something dangerous, and the person has to give a patch to a child. So parents know when they give a patch to a child, what do? They can't help it. Right afterwards, they give their child a hug. They hold their child. The Ki'ilu can't help it. Kadosh Baruch Hu gave us a huge patch. A huge patch. It's not over. With those who are taken captive, with families who are still grieving in such pain, with 1,400 casualties, with an army that's perhaps right now, as we are turning Friday into Erev Shabbos, we're entering Shabbos and they're entering Gaza. That patch is still reverberating. But a parent after a patch gives a hug. And we daven and we hope Shabbos is that Bechina of Ava, that Hashem gives us that collective hug with a sweeping triumph, with a victory, with a quickly restoring safety and security that the Jewish people so deserve, Eretz Yisrael so deserves. So we daven as we turn this Friday into Erev Shabbos, that we, elevating our experience of Shabbos through, like Avram Avinu, that's the promised land. We don't wait for Shabbos to end to get back to the week. We work all week so we can go to the promised land. And where is the promised land? The promised land of a Yid is Shabbos. Shabbos, this place of promise. Shabbos, the promised land. Shabbos, the place of Ava, of love between us and Hashem. Shabbos, the Makor Bracha. All of the schuyos of our really elevating and immersing and experiencing Shabbos in all of its glory, going to that promised land in our lives. The Makor Bracha, may all the bracha of Shabbos, of Yidden, of Jews around the world really experiencing a true Shabbos, may that bracha succeed. That our precious soldiers be successful in all that they do, that they should have a Shabbos that is not only Me'ein Olam Haba, a Shabbos of a taste of the world to come, but we long for the world, the day that the Yom Shakulo Shabbos, the day that Mashiach will come, will experience a day that is only Shabbos. Aye. Please continue to daven for all those in Israel and especially this